So, I said, well, let me go teach the people some of the original knowledge the way we used to teach it. So today's lesson is all about your antennas. Where are your antennas? Let's talk about it. I have to keep the original comedic teachings alive, so I'm going to go into this subject. Now, this subject is not to make anybody feel lesser than what they are. It's just, this is what we teach. This is how I came into the knowledge. And I'm going to put the information out there for those that want to grab it, and for those that reject it, reject it. Now, as a comedic spaceman, off the top, the first thing we were instructed to do was read all of the holy books, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Oaspi, Maccabee Bible, Keeping the Gospel, so on and so forth. We were also required to not eat any dead flesh. You couldn't have dead bodies in your freezer, and you couldn't have dead bodies on your plate. And you also had to have your antennas. You had to have your antennas on your head, because the knowledge that we was bringing forth was to go beyond just back so far. It was all about going back all the way to creation, all the way back to the first man, before you had barbers, before you had the Middle Age, before you were cutting your hair. It was all about going back to that ancient person, so that you could be one with the gods. And part of that is you had to have your antennas. Because without your antennas, you cannot pick up knowledge from the Creator, and you cannot pick up knowledge from the cosmos. If you show me your wisest brother and sister out here right now that cut their hair, they are just like 1/10 of the level they would be on if they had the antennas on their head. They're not picking up all the knowledge that they could pick up. Not at all. You have to have your antennas on your head. Now, a lot of people experience this when you first start growing your dreadlocks. A lot of people can't sleep. And the reason they can't sleep is because all the energy that be coming from the cosmos, their hair be picking up this energy. So they become restless. And they wonder what the heck is going on. It's because they're picking up all the extra energy from the universe. Now, what you do if you think I'm lying, go out to your car and break your antenna off your car. And then see how your reception is. You're not picking up no radio stations clearly. It's going to be fuzzy. Just like when you cut your hair off your head, the knowledge that you're getting from the cosmos is fuzzy. You're not getting it clear sound like I'm getting. So the difference in now, some of these new teachers I'm seeing, and I've been off the scene for a long time, because, all our knowledge was done face to face and our gurus and our teachers taught personally. And then, I've been off the scene, I've been doing my thing, and I had no idea all this was going on the internet. And, I put, my real name is Pharaoh Elaton because I changed my name at 19. So when I put my comedic name down there, of course, I got a lot of comedic people follow me on Twitter and on Instagram, on Facebook. And then when I started looking at them, it was like, wow, they ate meat. Some of them was fat and all out of shape. A lot of them was bald-headed. And I was like, what kind of comedic motherfuckers is these? That was something new. I never seen that before. Because there was no comedic people in the 70s and the 80s. There was no bald-head comedic people. Like, there was people that gave lectures. But we didn't consider them comedic. We just considered them historians. But I mean, the real brothers and sisters that was out here reflecting the culture, we was all, dreadlock, Rasta, comedic. We all had our locks on our head. And so we looked, when we made the pose, we looked exactly like the people in the Pipers. So, that's one major difference between then and now. And we went from people, with our locks that really look like, the people in the Pipers to now, I see people and, their way of being comedic is not really wholesome in their body and everything is comedic. They're all fat. Show me a fat motherfucker in the hieroglyphics. Show me one fat motherfucker. So you got these fat comedic people. You don't see no lot of bald-head motherfuckers in the hieroglyphics. You got all these bald-head motherfuckers now. And what they do is they buy ankhs and stuff and put them around their neck. And that's the new way to be comedic. It's like you could use ornaments. Whereas us, our whole thing we used to teach is we didn't need African clothes on and stuff like that. We wake up with our natural, nappy African hair. Soon as we wake up and we don't have no clothes on, we was African. We was our Kebulon. We was Kemet. Before the costume, if we put on our garb and our ornaments, that just added to the beauty. But no matter what, we was already comedic. We always considered cutting our hair off was like a process that you would do before you would be put on the auction block to be sold as a slave. And we always taught that the one with his dreadlock, that's the one that's not a slave. Nobody want to buy him. Nobody want to buy me with all this nappy hair on my head. They have to cut my hair off and make me look more like Toby. I look too much like Kunta Kinte. I don't look like Toby. Toby got the haircut. He looked presentable to be bought and sold and get his ass out there and pick some motherfucking cotton. I don't look like I picked no motherfucking cotton. So that's what I really don't like about the new age black consciousness and shit. It's like, it's just all ornaments, You get up in the morning, and when you get up and look, you look exactly like the Christian. You look exactly like the same Christian you say you don't like, the same Negro you say you don't like. When you get up and you comedic, before you put on all your ornaments and shit, you look exactly like it. We walked up on them, we wouldn't know you from them. You can put on your little suit or whatever, and you can go right down and be a Negro and get the job. Whereas me, I'm 100%. I walk in there, I don't care what kind of suit I put on. They see all this hair, they're like, well, maybe not. See? I'm 100%. I need no ornaments on. I'm black to the bone. And nowadays, it's like ornaments, they probably selling a lot of ankhs out here because, without that ankh around your neck, you ain't even comedic. And that's one of the major differences between then and now. When we was coming into this, you had to go and put your money where your mouth is at And you had to be willing to grow your hair and go through the struggle of white supremacy, seeing that you had a black mentality by looking at your head. You had to put your money where your mouth is and go down and put your money up and legally change your name. So when the Babylon pull you over, they would address you by your comedic title. You couldn't just front like you can now and be William Smith and then get on Facebook and be Anu, Amun, Akun, Atin, Atet, Hotep, Ankh and shit like you could do now. Now you could still have your slave name, and then you can go and put this long comedic name on Facebook, put a bunch of unks around your neck, and boom, you comedic. And that shit, that's like bullshit. We wasn't going for none of that, but you know, it's a new day and age. You could just fake the funk now. There's a lot of fake shit going on. You know, because I see people, you know, and they be in the conscious community, and they be like, the Christians ain't on nothing, and they be, you know, saying all kind of stuff. And, you know, and then you go and you look on Facebook, and they got all this dead flesh, or they got the fresh bald head haircut, and they be kind of tripped out, because I'll be like, should I slam these motherfuckers? Because they kind of like trying to look down on somebody, but they not even there. You know, they could be looked down on, you know. Because the way we was doing is like, if you cut your hair to submit to Allah, you wasn't no king. You was a submitter. You was a slave. Like any other nigga that was a slave under Islam. You wasn't really that enlightened God. From the revolutionary point, we was like, okay, you say you hate white supremacy, right? Okay. You hate white supremacy. Cool. Why you cutting your hair then? If you so blackety black, why are you trimming off your hair, and who you trying to impress? Who do you need the haircut from? If you really free, that free black nigga, who you trimming your hair down for? You trimming your hair down so you could be presentable in the same white supremacy system that you say you hate. Because if you was black and you was 100% black against the white supremacy system, ain't no way you cut your Nyabingi hair off. You would be 100% like, man, I'm not cutting this. If you was 100% in tune with the gods, then you would say the gods made my hair like this. This is what we used to teach, the real comedic brothers that laid this down. Y'all new ones, y'all bootleg. You are not teaching the real comedic teachers. You are fake and you are fraud. Because we had already elevated the comedic teachings in the early 80s. We had already elevated it. You done went way back to the comedic, the old school comedic brothers that hadn't even elevated it up to the level where we was at. The first comedic brothers that really came out the South that was older than us, and they was trying to learn, you way back on their level. We had already took it from Sun Ra and our elders, and we had already took it up to the next level. We had already became them dreadlock vegan comedic gods. And y'all turned around and went right back down, boo. Back to some bald head blood clots with some fucking ornaments on. And then you'll say, well, if Samurai and them did it was cool. No, because they was the foundation that built it up. You ain't on their level. You're not in their time zone to be going backwards like that. You've already been presented to knowledge. How the hell is you a comedic nigga with a bald head and Chief Keef got fucking dreadlocks looking like a real pharaoh and you look like a fucking slave? You don't even look as black as Chief Keef. You don't even look as black as Lil Wayne. You look like a fucking Negro with an ankh on his motherfucking neck and a bunch of dead shit in his stomach. You got like life around your neck and death on your plate and in your stomach. You ain't even real with the shit. So, it wouldn't be fair to just sit back and not put the teachers out there that I came into the game with, whether you get offended or not. This is how it was. And when I left Chicago, I was a comedic roster. And when I went to California, I ran into King OG and them from the King's Chamber. And guess what? It was the same shit. It was amazing. They were some comedic rosters. You had your locks. You didn't eat dairy. You was a vegan, but we called it vegetarians. We just didn't eat dairy. And we was trying to be on the highest level possible. We was not trying to be no bald-head Negro slave. So, it's time for black people to stop cutting their hair and let their natural hair grow and really be what the gods created you to be. As every time you cut your hair off, you are saying that the gods made a mistake. You are not in tune with the gods with a bald head. And Kemet, if you've seen us with a bald head, it was because the land had been infested with lice from the Europeans coming down. And we would be fighting wars and a lot of times to take in prisoners and shit from the sea people invading. And they would have lice. And it's hot, it's a desert there. So when the lice would get there, it'd be all over the place. So everybody used to have to trim all their locks off and start over again. So when you see them bald head pharaohs and shit like that, that was during the time of a plague of lice. That wasn't because that was nothing they wanted to do. That was something they had to do to clean. Back then, we didn't do the lice medicine and shit like that. We used to cut all our hair and burn all the material. Burn all the sheets, burn all the clothing. Everybody would get all new clothing, all new everything. And we would kill all the lice real quick. We have big barnyard burns and all the community would come out and bring their shit and burn it. And we cut their hair and throw their hair in the fire. That's how we used to clear lice. Everybody be naked and would get in the water, be baptized and be born again. And then come out and put their new clothes on and get sprayed down with the eucalyptus and shit. That's how we used to cure lice. So when you see all them bald-head monks and priests in Egypt, that was during the time of plagues. From us being in contact with people that wasn't clean. That wasn't because I was positive. So, if you want to, pick up more knowledge and be closer to the gods and pick up all the knowledge that's flowing through the universe, you need to start growing your hair. Now, maybe you got a job and they won't let you grow your hair. That's understandable. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm saying, okay, you ain't, nothing because you ain't growing your hair. But I am saying you got to give people like me, you got to give me my props for walking around with this stuff on my head and the sacrifices I make for having this nappy hair and being a natural man from creation and all of the motherfucking obstacles I have to go through to carry this burden. You can never pretend you on my level when you don't go through what I go through. I have to be independent. I have to be a black businessman. Because them white folks don't want to hire me with this nappy hair on my head. And I'm not willing to go and braid my shit up and have my shit looking all cute like a bitch. I'm a Naya Bingy warrior. This shit ain't supposed to be cute. It'd be cute on my wife. I like when she fix her dreads up and make them look cute. I don't want no cute motherfucking dreads. Nigga, do I look motherfucking cute? I ain't motherfucking cute. I'm a motherfucking monster. Fuck out of here. I'm not trying to look good. I'm trying to look scary. I'm trying to look terrible and dreadful. I'm trying to look like I'll bite the oppressor's head off his motherfucking neck. I'm not no cute pharaoh. I'm not fucking Trey Songz, nigga. I'm the captain of this motherfucking ship. So, all you young brothers and sisters out there that, you getting into Kemet and comedic, okay, grow your antennas. Start your own businesses. Even though nowadays you are allowed to have your dreadlocks, and a lot of jobs still will hire you if you got skills and stuff like that. You won't have to be discriminated against like I was back in the 70s and the 80s. They used to look at me, even though I was the best person in the class and I could go to school and be the top student. You know, companies would come down and be like, well, appearance, that's what they say. I can have my hair tied back, I got a suit on, but they was like appearance. They want me to cut my dreadlocks off because they want to own me 24/7. See, because they know if I cut my dreadlocks off to work for them 8 hours, I can't put them back on. So they don't just want me for 8 hours. They want me to cut my dreadlocks off and commit to them 24 hours around the day. That means when I get off my 16 hours for myself, I'm still a bald head under their motherfucking oppression. Come on, man. I'm not going like that. Okay? And for all y'all out there cutting your hair, you are not on no type of level as your brothers and sisters that's wearing their dreadlocks. You are not. You are on a lower level. They are making a black sacrifice that you are not making. Straight up. But I'm just out here putting out the teachers the way it was taught to me. I'm not out here trying to teach you and make you do the shit. I'm just telling you how it was taught to me. So some of y'all that truly want to be comedic on the highest level can have the opportunity to do it the right way, and you just won't be no motherfucker with no ornaments and no costume and no fake name. See, because the way we had it comedic is you had your locks, you ate vegan, the police pull you over, they get my license, they be like, Pharaoh, real talk. They don't start calling me John and David and Kenny and shit. And we was also taught that, okay, you know, I was born with my parents name me, you know, what they wanted to name me. And so you have a first name, a middle name, and a last name. So another teaching we had is that your first name and your middle name is not a bad thing. Those are blessings from your parents. Your parents decided to give you your first and middle name. So my original first and middle name, I have no problem with that. Sometimes people still call me by my first name that my parents named me. Old people that used to call me that when I was a kid. And even though my name's changed legally, I don't really trip on that. But the last name, my parents didn't give me that. That's their slave name, and it's just passed down. I'm not fucking with that last name. And back in 79, when I came home with dreadlocks, my parents thought I was crazy because nobody had seen dreadlocks before. Black people didn't even know their hair grew like that because I didn't know it. I was amazed when I found out our hair matted up like that and grew and changed colors. It blew my mind. I was like, wow. Now everybody take for granted when they see that because the people like me made the sacrifice. So when you see dreadlocks and you take it for granted, you got to understand that brothers like me and sisters that did like me, we paid dues for you all to understand what dreadlocks was. If it wasn't for us making sacrifices, not being able to get hired, not being able to get jobs, and wearing our hair like that, y'all still wouldn't know what dreadlocks is. Somebody paid that sacrifice for you to even know what dreadlocks is. You have to have your antennas. If you don't have your antennas, you're not picking up the full knowledge. And see, our hair, you see the way it's spiral? See, there's a lot of physics and a lot of science in the whole dreadlocks, the way the kinetic energy that makes them even lock up. See, when you cut your hair, you lose all that power. Plus the way you look. So when you don't eat right, you get all fat looking, and you don't grow your natural hair, you don't know what you look like. You don't even look like your real, original, natural self. And then you want to keep saying netter, the netter, the netter. The netter is the nature, the natural. So if you're not your natural self, what the fuck you know about the netter? You don't even reflect no motherfucking nectar. You reflect some altered motherfucker. You like a motherfucking GMO, nigga. You ain't organic. I be just looking at people, and I'm looking at this dude. He just came from the barbershop. He talking about the netter, and I'm like, dude, you're not even natural. So I don't know why you're using the original root word of natural when you unnatural and you just came back from the Greek and Roman barber chair using, razors and shit that was created by the motherfuckers that made the swords to conquer you. That shit you're using to cut your hair is the same shit that conquered you. That's slave shit. That's Roman Greek shit. Let me drop some knowledge on y'all. Real talk. When you hear Jews, they wasn't Jews. They was the Hebrews. They was the children of Israel. They became Jews because a lot of the tribes from the children of Israel, they went and cut all their dreadlocks off. And they started emulating Philistines and Romans and Greeks. And Judah and two other tribes kept their dreadlocks, kept their natural self. And they didn't want to look like the other Hebrews that trimmed off their shit and start emulating the Europeans. So these three, instead of keep calling them Judites, they start calling them Jews. Black people, we stay stuff for short. So the Jews was the strong ones that kept their natural dreadlocks. And the rest of them Hebrews was the pussy motherfuckers that cut their shit and was joining the Greek army and was joining the Roman armies and all kind of hoe ass shit, wanted to look more like the white man. That was them. The Jews was the hardcore ones. So I would be considered a Jew. And the bald head niggas, them the rest of the Hebrew sellout motherfuckers that went and sold out the culture that allowed the Europeans to even start saying that they was Israel. They got them from the sellout niggas. They never got that from Judah and the other two tribes. Real talk. So much respect to the real Judites out there that held down the black culture. And look, you see the sisters trimming their nose and all that, and lighting their skin? They was doing that shit to get in the motherfucking Greek army. You better go look it up. And a lot of Hebrews was doing that for you bullshit niggas that saying the Bible ain't real. You dumbass niggas need to shut the fuck up. Don't know what the fuck you talking about, because them niggas that sold out was going and joining the Greek army. Who the fuck you thought was them black motherfuckers that was joining the Greek army? They was fucking Hebrews. They was fucking Hebrews. Go look up blacks in the motherfucking Greek army. Them was ex-Hebrews. Israel bitched up and joined in. And only the Judites in them stayed strong with the shit. The conquering lions from the tribe of Judah, they kept their dreadlocks. They kept their motherfucking antennas on their head. Real talk. In West Africa, they got some Islamic brothers and sisters that got dreadlocks. They practice like the real ancient Islam. They don't cut their hair. Go look it up. So, grow your dreadlocks. Don't be afraid of the wolf pack. Stand up and be your natural self and respect the gods. And stop acting like the gods made a mistake. They made your hair too nappy. They made your skin too dark. They made your lips too big. And everything you look at, you lightening your skin, white folks laying in the sun. You pulling your lips in, white folks getting shots in their lips. You cutting your hair, you got white rosters everywhere. White motherfuckers with dreadlocks. And you's a nigga with a bald head. And here's a white dude with some long dreadlocks all the way down to his motherfucking knees. And you can't see that? You're going trimming your nose down, the white woman trying to make her nose flare up more. You're going pulling your lips in, the white woman shooting injections. You all ashamed of your booty, the white girl trying to get that African booty. Just all you got to do is look. Tell me a lot of white guys ain't got dreadlocks. Come on. They look more blacker than you. You sitting here looking like a fucking Arab or a Greek or a Roman that's been infested with lice with a fresh fucking Toby haircut, and here goes a white man looking like original man. Come on. And for all my Christian brothers and sisters out there, y'all know that Black Christ had dreadlocks. Why y'all keep saying y'all like Christ, but y'all ain't like Christ? Christ had hair of wool, not a fresh haircut. So you're not even Christ-like. To be honest, you look more like Pontius Pilate. You don't look like the Christ. Not at all. So I'm going to end this by saying, get your antennas on your head so you can look natural. Be your natural self and pick up the energy from the cosmos. Eat right. Stop eating a bunch of dead flesh. Study. Read everything. Stop letting somebody tell you, don't read this and don't read that. Read everything and see for yourself. Don't let nobody tell you, oh, the Bible is a white man book. Read it for yourself and see if it's the white man book. Don't make no judgments about the Quran until you read it. Don't let no people conquer you and then blame the book. You can't blame the Quran. You can't blame the Bible. You have to blame the actual people that misused those writings and conquered you. I got encyclopedias and books all around here. Can one of them books get up and conquer you? I could take an encyclopedia and say, pretend I'm reading some shit out there and conquer you. You was conquered with the Gatling gun and the cannon, and you was shot and you was forced to go and listen to somebody give you a false interpretation of the Bible. You didn't just do that. Nobody just came and hit you in the head with the Bible and conquered you. Stop with all them lies. And know that everybody in that Bible that's black had long dreadlocks down their back. Moses, Samson, Elijah, Ezekiel, Daniel, Isaiah, all of them was dreadlock men. All of them was Nazarites that had the vow of the Nazarite. Go read Numbers chapter 6 and see the vow of the Nazarite. Get some knowledge. Stop being a foo-foo ass nigga. Because if you cutting your hair, you doing Europeans, you doing Greeks, you doing Romans. And what I always tell you, do you.